This particular lick has a pickup. We're coming in on the second 16th note of the fourth beat of measure 8. And the important thing to remember is that the root is the strongest tone you can hit. It's pretty obvious. Our target in measure 9 is the G7. The G, 8th fret of the second string, is our target. So we simply approach it from the E. And notice by starting on the upbeat, 1 E and a 2. Actually, it's 4 E and a 1. That gives it that jazz syncopated feel. 4 E and a 1. Now you want to make sure you start that with an upstroke. Up, down, up, down. Notice how I already have my first finger lightly touching the G. And then these two G's are staccato. You can see how I'm deadening. My third finger is not upright. I'm actually using it to dampen. We're in measure 9 on the 5 chord. Again, we're just hitting the roots of the chord. Can't go wrong there. You can actually see them as the outer borders of this G7 voicing. And this particular lick, you want to orient around this chord because then it'd be applicable in any key. Then we have our great flat 3 to 3, 1, flat 7. And the G7 lick goes as follows. 4 E and a 1, and 2 E and a 3 E and. Now we need to move to the F7 chord. You will switch up and you'll actually be playing some C blues scale ideas over the 4 chord. Now remember, through the course here I've been saying that you can obviously play a C blues scale over all 3 chords. Here's a situation where instead of playing vertically, targeting notes in the F7 chord, we have a great C blues lick. And now you want to remember that this lick would also work over the 1 chord. You're in the 10th position now, coming in on the and of 4. Little legato slide there. Then a hammer on. Switch back down to the 8th position. That's your line. You have a little bit of staccato in there. And then for the last 2 bars, we're back on our 1 chord. Another nice C blues scale idea. You see how you're approaching the target of the C notes again. Best note you could hit over a C7 chord. And you're using a major 7. But you're playing it for such a short period of time, there's no clash. Then you have a finger roll right there. A descending finger roll. You're coming down, B flat, G, F. Now if you play that F on the tip of your finger, you're going to be in trouble because then you'd have to hop over to the C. It's going to break your flow. You may end up getting an open string. So be sure to play that note with your index finger, DIP joint hyperextended slightly. You're deadening that 6th string. Then you can smoothly, in a legato fashion, roll over to the C. The last measure, measure 12, we sprinkle in some country sounds. I remember I've told you earlier that you want to be aware of the element of country in blues. That means we're using the major pentatonic scale. Real quick little legato slide, 3rd finger. Down, up. Now another finger roll. And actually, you know, be careful when you do that finger roll because then you're kind of setting yourself up to where if you're not careful, you might be barring the 3rd string. You have to use a finger roll that still deadens the 3rd string. You'll have to figure these things out. A quick hammer pull triplet. Then that A is staccato. Back to the C. I'll play the whole thing very slowly. Now remember, we're coming in on the 2nd 16th of the 4th beat of measure 8. Anticipating this G7. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4. That's the entire phrase. Make sure you practice it over the chords. And I'm going to demonstrate, as I've done earlier, how particular licks wouldn't work. If I try to play this G7 lick over a C7 chord, it's going to stink. Let's give this a listen. You'll see exactly what I mean. I'm going to play measure 9, which is this G7 lick, over a C7 chord, and we're using a different track, a little different feel, but you'll hear how this won't fit too well. You hear that clash? there's a perfect example of how you can't use that lick. Let's start the track again and see if we can use that measure 10 lick. I said that it would fit over the C7 chord. This is measure 10 with the pickup. Works great. And you know that the measures 11 and 12 are going to work because that's the C7 chord. So I just wanted to demonstrate and let your ears prove to yourself that obviously you can't play a G7 vertical-oriented lick, meaning it has chord tones, has this B flat to B, flat 3 to 3 move, because if you analyze that against C, you're going flat 7 to 7. I'll play the whole thing again, but I'm going to use some of this information. See how I'm using all the stuff that would work over the C7, also works over the F7. Now here I play the turnaround. All right, have fun with this one.